So I'll present to you something that I've already put in a journal. I've received responses and I've responded to the responses. So I'll be happy to share with you what we found in this data set that we have. So the talk is on genetic variability and consequences of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, lineage 3 infections. So, okay. So I always flash this map just to recap on what is already known globally. So one scientist went ahead and classified all the strains that we have of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and he has already mapped them and showed where they are. And one of the things he thinks is that they could be a host preferential susceptibility to Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and that's why it appears like that. So there are strains that are all over the globe, and then there are those that are restricted to particular regions like the lineage 5 and lineage 6, which is mainly in West Africa. And then there are those which are in East Asia, and those are in between Africa and Asia. So he observed that there are 7 genotypes of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which have shown variability in the clinical outcome. Some have been demonstrated as being virulent, more virulent than others. Some have been demonstrated as being more transmissible than others. Some have been demonstrated as having more cavitary tuberculosis as compared to the others. So how about the MTB lineage 3 that we are looking about? There are contradictions about the data that is coming out of lineage 3. Some papers published that it's associated with cavitary disease. Others, they demystify that. Others have transmitted that is more transmissible than other strains. Then other papers demystify us that. So in this set of work, I chose to see what could be the status quo in Uganda. How does this Mycobacterium tuberculosis MTB lineage 3 present? So this is the research question I put up, that MTB lineage 3 in peri-urban Kampala differ in the ability to cause severe disease. So we're very careful, we define what we meant by severe disease in this case. So it is presence or absence of cavity within the lungs with other associated lesions in the lungs as evaluated by the chest X-ray. So how did I approach this? So first, we had to genotype the Mycobacterium tuberculosis to describe the population structure of MTB in this population. Then 2, to make association between the MTB genotype and then the clinical picture that was seen on these patients. So how did you do this? So to genotype the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, we used specific probes for MTB lineage 3 that helps out to pull out the lineage 3 MTB from the population of TB that we had. And we used a specific probe in a real-time PCR. Then after that, we had to stratify further the MTB lineage 3 and go at a finer point using what is called sporigotyping. So you define and get a fingerprint for a particular strain. So our data shows that in Kampala, we have around 58% of a strain called Casdeli, and then we have around 25% a strain called Casquili, and then we have Cas2, and then Cas. So interestingly, in our population structure, we found some bugs that we couldn't classify. So we think within this pocket, we might be having strains that are not yet known. So that is a black box that we need to open up and see what is in this. Because when we query the global database that has all these global strains, these ones that are in that box, they were not there. Meaning, it's likely that this could be new strains of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So, secondly, we wanted to look at the phenotypes. What are these clinical outcomes? When somebody is infected with MTB lineage 3, how does it present? So, for these strains, there was a database that had all the clinical data that they collected from these patients, and then I had genotyped all the strains in that. So I tried to do the association. What is the association between this lineage and then the clinical pictures that we saw? So after doing all the do's and don'ts of statistics, so we came out to this last table, which is the multivariate, and our outcome in this case was capital TB. And then we are seeing, irrespective of the strain, none of them is showing that is associated with capital TB. So this gives us that these strains that are circulating, they equally cause disease within this population. But we saw that when you have a positive smear, chances are high that you have cavitation. Secondly, and this is likely to be true because you have more bags that you can see in the slide, and this means the disease is severe. So that's the data that's saying. Then we saw that HIV status, when you're HIV positive, you are less likely to have severe disease, and this is true. Many people have published this, just because when you are immunocompetent, you can wall off the infection into a tubercle, and maybe when you cough, that's when you have the cavity. But when you are immunocompetent, you can't wall off the infection, so these tubercles are not there, so you cannot have the cavitation. And then we are seeing that those patients who had a BCG scar, and in this we assumed that all these patients were vaccinated by the BCG, and we are seeing that all those that were vaccinated, they are less likely to develop severe disease when you're infected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis lineage 3. Then lastly, we saw also that when you have swelling of the lymph nodes, you are also less likely to develop severe disease when you're infected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis lineage 3. And this reminds us all, in TB, we have what is called extrapulmonary tuberculosis and pulmonary tuberculosis. So this clearly would show us that maybe when you see somebody with swollen glands, the chances are minimum that you have severe disease. So, in conclusion, from this study, we observed that there are 3 strains of Mycobacterium tuberculosis lineage 3 circulating in this population. And this is one of the studies that I showed all the 4 strains circulating in the same population. And we are seeing lymphadenitis, presence of scar, then positive smear as other risk factors associated with the MTB lineage 3 infection. We had limitation when we were doing this study. We never explored other comorbidities associated with TB infection. Perhaps these guys had farm infection within the lungs. Probably that's why they developed the cavitation. So we never explored that. But I think from the well-curated data set from the Case Western, well, it's possible that they took care of this. Secondly, there are better tools in genotyping Mycobacterium tuberculosis now, like whole genome sequencing. So we think probably our tools could have been inferior, but by merging 2 tools, we did SNP typing and then sporigotyping, we are quite sure that we may not have misclassified some of these strains that could lead to homoplasy. So I wish to thank, acknowledge, I used some of the reagents from the Case Western, from the structures, and then some reagents. I will not say much about my mentors, but Professor Moses Jalova is here, the local mentor, and then Sergeant Ejeste from Cambridge University. Thank you very much.